All right, to start simplifying this expression, you first want to recognize that every term has an exponent, so that even this 8 has an exponent of 1. And so then what you want to do is multiply each exponent using the power rule by 2/3, just as if you would be multiplying a fraction. So let's keep 4x on the outside. And what we're going to have is 8. 1 times 2/3 is 8 to the 2/3. So the 3 times 2/3, that becomes 6/3, or 8 is 6/3, which is just going to then be simplified to 8 or x squared. And then 2/3 times 1/4, you have y to the 2/12. Y to the 2/12, and that just simplifies to 1/6. And then from here, you can multiply now by the exponents on the outside here. So let's combine the x's, and let's leave this 8 to the 2/3 out for now. Let's just ignore it for now because I'm going to explain what happens there. So x to the 1 times x to the second, you add the powers, that'll be x cubed. 1 plus 2 is 3. And the y to the 1/6 just stays as is. And then here we have 8 to the 2/3. Now 8 to the 2/3, that's the same as 8 to the 1/3 all to the 2 power. And the reason we want to look at it like this is because 8 to the 1/3 is the third root of 8, or you're essentially trying to find what number times itself 3 times, what number to the third power equals 8. And that's just going to be 2. So then we have 2 to the 2. So then 2 to the 2 is just 2 times 2, or just 4. So then this 8 to the 2/3 just becomes a 4. So what you really have going on here is 4 times 4 for that, and that. And then what we end up is 16 x cubed times y to the 1/6 as your final answer. Right, number 5. Here we have some radicals with these roots and powers. So let's make sure we understand what's going on here. So when you have the exponent like this, and you have the power written inside this, radical symbol, essentially this whole group is being raised to the 5th power. So let's simplify this red part first. So what we have there, leaving the 6 on the outside for now, is essentially 2x minus 5 to the 1/3 power. Because remember, this is just the third root of whatever this is. So then it's going to be essentially just 2x minus 5 to the 1/3 power. That's by definition of what a root is. That's the third root, or to the 1/3 power, all to the 5th. Then from here, you can then multiply this power by 5. So then the top, where the numerator becomes 6 times 2x minus 5 all to the 5/3 power. And now let's worry about the denominator. So remember, when you don't have any number written inside this radical part here, it's essentially like you have a 2, because you're taking the second root there, where you're raising this to the 1/2 power. Now, what we can also do here is factor a 9 out of there. So first, put in all of that as an exponent. So the square root is the same as being raised to the 1/2 power. And then 18x minus 45, you can factor out a 9. And then you get 9 times 2x minus 5 from there. And what you're essentially doing is you're having 9 to the 1/2 power times, let me go twist my pen, 2x minus 5 to the 1/2 power. And 9 to the 1/2 power is just the square root of 9, or it's just 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. So what you have is 6/3 So what you have is as your leading coefficient, and your final answer is just 2/1 or just 2. Now here, since you have the same base, you're going to use the exponent property where you subtract the bottom exponent from the top. So 5/3 minus 1/2. So you have 2 times 2x minus 5 to the 5/3 minus 1/2 power. You don't even need this one here, but it doesn't matter. And this is just fractions. So we just got 2 times 2x minus 5, 5/3 minus 1/2. That's just, you can put them both over 6. So 5/3 is the same as 10/6. 1/2 is the same as 3/6. So it's just 10/6 minus 3/6, or 7/6. And so your final answer is 2 times 2x minus 5 to the 7/6 power. And there you go. That's all there is to it.